This is Fan Formula on the 5th of February. Apologies, I'm doing this slightly differently because I've been filming lots of stuff for Storm's Post Productions. It's actually easier to film it this way, believe it or not, than to set my webcam back up, which, trust me, it's a complicated... The webcam's a simple job, the equipment I've got to record with is a bit more complicated. Anyway, first question. This week Adrian Sutil was found guilty of GBH against Eric Lux and has received an 18-month suspended sentence and €200,000 fine to go to charity. However, he said that his friendship with Lewis Hamilton is basically over. What do you think of the sentence and what he said about Lewis Hamilton? The sentence, I think it's about average. I've heard that it was actually Eric Lux that threw the first punch, so in actual fact, Adrian Sutil's got off incorrectly. However, I'm not Sutil's biggest fan on this issue. It's nice to see that he's actually been fined, it's not been thrown out for lack of evidence, etc. And it's nice to see the fines actually going to charity, not just to fund the legal and bureaucratic system in Germany. Having said that, if you're going to make an example of him, this was the time to make the example of. I personally feel that Sutil should count his lucky stars, really. Because, he could have... Whilst he's lost his drive, I've not heard anything on whether he's lost his licence or not, and if he hasn't, then he can at least go off and compete in, Le Mans or something, or try and get a third driver role somewhere this season, assuming places are still requiring them. As for what he said about Lewis Hamilton not attending, I find it interesting that McLaren have jumped straight in and sort of not let Lewis speak for himself. Now, I could understand if the day they wanted Lewis was the same day the MP427 was being launched. You don't need to be a student of geography to realise how close and easy it would be to just fly across to Germany, or, heck, if needs be, do a double-team 24-hour drive across. I can't work out why Hamilton didn't attend, because on the one hand it sounds like he couldn't be bothered, and on the other hand it sounds like he genuinely had sponsor commitments. It sounds like he didn't even send an email to Adrian at all, so I'm going to wait and see how that one goes, but I personally think Hamilton was silly not to attend. Question 2. McLaren were the first team to hold a live car launch this week, displaying themselves a nice shiny chassis with some obvious changes, but do you prefer the launch that McLaren held or the understated Caterham unveiling? I quite like the understated Caterham unveiling, because then it's just the car. The attention is just on the car. You've not got drivers getting all, oh yeah, I think this car's going to be a winner. I'm going to work hard with the team. I'd like to thank everyone, the team, everyone, the team, which is not the case really. I don't think, personally, I think a lot of drivers are just egocentric, so these launches are a bit of a phony really. However, that said, on the live launch, you can get all sorts of technical questions asked. Like, there was some guy on the McLaren launch who asked whether McLaren are ever going to make their own engine, which was an interesting question. Interesting to see how McLaren have managed to avoid the step nose. And Caterham and all the other teams I've seen that launch have gone for the step nose. And either this is going to work fantastic, either the step nose is the way forward and McLaren have got it wrong yet again, or everyone else has got it completely wrong and McLaren have got it right. Question 3. It's all about Rubens. Rubens has completed several laps in an IndyCar recently. What do you think his move to IndyCar will have on IndyCar and Formula 1, or whether he actually will even go into IndyCar completely or not? I think it's fantastic that Rubens is driving. I saw on the flying lap, he said, I need to race because otherwise, I start driving too fast on the road, etc., which it's nice. At least he admits that. It proves that him testing IndyCar, it proves he's still got the desire to be in the sport. I personally think it's wrong that he's not in the sport at all. It was up to me, I'd boot Jarno out of Caterham and put Rubens back in. Rubens testing an IndyCar, it's brilliant because to me, if he's playing this sort of game, I don't know whether he would or not. It would prove to the other teams that I'm still got the drive, I've still got the speed. I just wasn't wanting a 20th year because I want to set records. I want a 20th year because I'm this bloody good. If he goes to IndyCar, he can't do what Martin Brundle called super subbing. If he moved permanently to IndyCar, then they've gained a good ambassador for the sport, and unfortunately Formula 1 has lost such a brilliant ambassador, and Formula One has lost one of the nicest people in recent times. I mean, Rubens is a brilliant ambassador for the sport. It's just unfortunate he never got to be world champion to have an even bigger ambassador field around the sport. The bonus question: Daniel Ricciardo's joined Twitter recently. Are there any non-tweeting Formula One drivers you'd like to see on Twitter? I wouldn't mind seeing Kimi Räikkönen on Twitter, see what his true thoughts are, if he's even allowed to post his true thoughts. However, that said, it might just be wore a big hat, ate a Magnum, and then his usual mumbling, yeah, well, I think we went to go get the car, and the car was going to go really good, and we went around the corner really fast, and we won the race. Sort of thing. Vettel sounds like a very popular person that's really wanted on Twitter, as is Michael Schumacher. But most of the people I think would be good tweeters are on there. I haven't looked to see if the new people like Eric Verne and Charles Pic are on Twitter. The best, but you know, if you want to follow the actual F1 driver tweeters, you know, or former F1 drivers, you want to follow Rubens Barrichello for one. He's one of the best, and then Jenson Button, I think, for the absolute best. And Bruno Senna, when he does tweet, is very good. I think I'd like to see people like Senna and Pastor Maldonado tweet a little bit more, because I know they tweet in their own language. They tweet in their home country's language, and then they often tweet in English. And you know, they don't always want to sit there and put it in English, which is fair enough. Anyway, that's the end of this Fan Formula, and on the note of Storm Space Productions, we've got a Twitter page now. It's at Storm Space Prod. The website's on the way. It's just on the web, hosted on webs, which is not what we want at the moment. But until I make a little bit of money, or you know, my business partner, if he's even still want to be the business partner, makes some money, we can't afford to pay for a domain and be at stormspaceproductions.com, sort of thing. I still need 2 females to do voices in the series, and at the moment there might even be a possibility for someone to take one of the male role as well. Like I say, my business partner he's not indicating what he wants. He's not making indications whether he is or wants to record his lines, and he's also not making it clear whether he still even wants to be in the project. He'll come up with ideas, but he won't help me implement them. Oh well. No, this has been a slightly different take on the Fan Formula this time. It's been machinimated. Normal service will be resumed next week, and I better say that this has been machinimated in Halo Reach, property of the Bungie Corporation and Microsoft. Okay, I didn't build this. Okay? Right. Cheers.